In this video, I'd like to show you how to install OpenSUSE 12.3 into VirtualBox. First thing you need to do is get VirtualBox. So if you just Google VirtualBox download, you'll need to get to this page. And so what I'm going to do is I'm installing it on Windows, but you can install it on Mac, you can install it on Linux. So I'll drop this VirtualBox down into the downloads folder. So if you click on this, it'll download VirtualBox. Next thing you need to do, we're going to look at OpenSUSE. We're going to download that. We'll get to the downloads page. So this is the main page. Go to get it, 64-bit, download that DVD, and that'll be downloaded into the downloads folder. Next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to run VirtualBox, and if you run VirtualBox, you get something that looks like this. But since you haven't installed any operating systems within VirtualBox, you won't have these over here. You can see I've already installed SUSE 12.1 and 12.3 and some other Windows. So the cool thing is with VirtualBox, you can install a bunch of different operating systems. I'm going to show you how to install SUSE 12.3 64-bit version. So the first thing we need to do is new. Give it a name. So because I already have SUSE 12.3_64 selected, I'm just going to do dummy 12.3_64. The type is going to be Linux, and the version is going to be OpenSUSE 64-bit. And then click on Next. We need to give it an amount of memory, and so I have plenty of memory on this machine, so I'm going to give it 2048 megs, which is actually 2 gigs. And then just create a virtual hard drive, fine. Stay with the default VDI, fine. I go with fixed sizes. And now 8 gigabytes is not near enough. So again, depending on your needs, I would strongly suggest probably a minimum of 30 or 40 gigabytes, probably 40 gigabytes. In this particular example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use 10, and I'll show you why I'm going to use 10. So when we go to create, then what has to happen is you're creating this fixed medium, and this is actually just going to take time. So if I had 40 gigabytes, it's just going to take a lot longer. So I'm doing 10, and you'll also notice that this is running pretty nicely because I've got a solid state drive in this particular computer, so it's awesome. So now we're actually ready to do some setup. And so if you right click on this and you go to settings, we're going to need to go to storage, and basically the CD DVD drive is empty, and so you got to go to that place where you downloaded the ISO. So you'll choose a virtual DVD. I'm in my downloads folder. I select OpenSUSE. I got it, and now that thing is mounted on the CD DVD drive. So that thing is ready because I'm going to boot from that, and then I'm going to install the software on this 10 gigabyte virtual device. Go ahead and click OK, and then you're going to want to start. And when you start, what's going to happen is this is going to be started from the DVD. It's going to launch that, boot from the hard drive. Well, we could try, but we haven't installed anything yet, so we're going to do an installation. So this is actually loading from our DVD, which is pretty cool. And you can see that SUSE's doing its thing. So again, we use this at Pacific, mainly what I'm showing you now in our CS300 data structures course. What we need in that class is we need C development tools. And so I'm going to set up a system, and we also like to teach, Linux in this particular class and use Linux tools, C programming, in Eclipse. So now you've got your license agreement. You can click next on that. This is just going to do some quick probing to see what you have for hardware. You're going to do a new installation, which is true. You're going to pick a time zone, which we're on the West Coast. So we've got Los Angeles, which is great. And we're going to pick a desktop other than these two. So at Pacific, we're just going to use XFCE, a really nice lightweight desktop, really good for development. And just go with the default. Now again, I'm only using 10 gigs. This isn't near big enough. But you're just going to go with the suggested partitioning. Click next. You're going to type in user's name. I'm just going to make something up. Joe Smith. You can pick up, decide whatever you want for the username, first name, last name, anything else. I'm going to just do a password ABC123, which Susie's not going to like. Password's too simple, obviously. Yes, I'm going to use this just for demo purposes. And now, at this point, you can add additional software to the install. And there's a bunch of software over here, and you can just go through it. You can install, Office, which is LibreOffice, and you can install games. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can install. Let me just show you minimally, what you would want to install for developing C code. You want the base development, and you want C++ development. And there's plenty of other stuff that you can get down here with Java and Linux kernel development. I don't remember for the guest editions. You might actually, well, we can install that. So I'll skip that now, and later on down the line, you can go ahead and install that if you want. So right now, again, base development, C++ development. Go ahead and click OK. And now you're ready. I mean, as soon as you click install here, it's going to take you through everything. It's going to install the software that you've selected, and life is good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop because this is going to work, and I'm going to take you to where I've already installed that. So power off the machine. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Nothing actually got installed on dummy, but I've done a full install in this virtual drive. So Suse123Install, and I'm going to go ahead and start that up and show you how nice this is. And I'm also going to show you that there's one more thing that you're going to want to do. Now this OpenSUSE 12.3, I'm actually booting off of the virtual drive right now. So no longer am I booting off, the DVD. This thing has been installed. You can see that it installs XCFE desktop. You get a desktop that looks like this, and you're going to want to actually install these guest editions. In order to install these guest editions, you're going to have to mount the VirtualBox guest editions, and this has actually already been mounted. And so I want to show you one other thing that you're going to want to do. So if you open up a terminal, and you can, the cool thing is now this is your machine. So if you want, you can log in as root, which is good. And again, that was just, the ABC123. If you do a DF, you can see what devices actually exist on this machine. And so if we mount that VirtualBox medium, then you can see that in /run media VirtualBox editions, this is actually where we want to go. So if we do cd/run media Ryan D VBox, and if we take a look at this, in order to install the guest editions, it's just /VBox Linux guest editions. Go ahead and hit return here. The guest editions for Linux are going to be installed. The guest editions will give you a little bit more control over the window with the mouse and keyboard and whatnot. So one last thing, I want to show you also. Unfortunately, I've already installed this software, but you can also use zipper install, and in CS300 we're going to want you to actually install and use Genie. So if you want to install some package that already exists out there like Genie, and Genie's not installed, if you're root right now, you can do zipper install Genie, and Genie will actually be installed and ready to use. You can do zipper install, updates. I think it's updates. You're good to go. So now from here on, the last thing you need to do is actually drop down Eclipse, install Eclipse, and you're ready to develop. So hopefully this helped you. Go back and review the video if you have any problems, and happy coding.